There is a little bit of a lag as this stream reaches you. Please open up the chat. Or I guess you don't have to open up the chat. It's not Zoom. You just scroll down, give me a thumbs up, shoot an emoji, tell me you can see me and hear me. A warm and official greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays, my weekly live open forum really for all things source energy medicine, really all things health and well-being. Trying to keep things as on topic and on point as possible. There still seem to be so many questions about the virus thing that's going around and the injection thing that awful lot of people are receiving, and then of course questions about if you choose to not get the injection thing. So I'm using might sound like odd words because when I say COVID, when I say vaccination, it sets off alarms with YouTube. And our live stream has been interrupted a few times because of saying stuff that they're censoring, really. So I'll say the virus thing, I'll say the injection thing, which is actually much more accurate because it really is not. Both versions are really not a true vaccine. So they are indeed injections, but there certainly seem to be a lot of questions. I am receiving really almost an overwhelming number of questions from folks. It seems to be like three main groups, right? We have those folks who are choosing to not get the injection, and then what do they do to help to ensure their health and well-being during all of this this pandemic, right? There's no question that there's something, right? There is something that people are getting. Some people seriously ill from, and certainly a lot of folks are dying, and a lot of folks are dying who are being attributed to the virus thing that's not. So it's very hard to discern to really look at the data intelligently and to make any sense of it. But there are enough people, well-credentialed people, who are looking at the data, especially like all-cause mortality, which to me makes a lot of sense. Like every year, you can simply look at the total number of people that died, and then what the cause of death according to the coroner was. In this case, there are very, very, very few autopsies being done. And I think that in part contributes to the mislabeling, right? So you got the folks who don't want to get the injection, who clearly want to stay healthy, happy, and for them, the master class that I produced, that is the emergency preparedness class, to me is essential, right? And it's not just only for folks who choose to not get the injection, because the injection, if it's going to help, it's going to be short term, and there's a lot of speculation, a lot of questions about if it's going to help at all. A lot more breakthrough infections and stuff like that. And then there's the long haul folks who got the virus and had serious signs and symptoms, and they are lingering for months, and some folks, more than a year. So the emergency preparedness masterclass, I think, is essential because it has step by step what to do both prophylactically to stay healthy, as well as what to do really in intelligent, logical order should signs or symptoms develop, and some excellent handouts and tips for creating emergency preparedness kits. That master class comes with the Source Energy Medicine mobile app, so you can actually make Source Energy Medicines from your mobile devices, which I think is pretty dang cool. And then you got folks who got the shot and they felt like they were forced to, right? They were coerced to, they were manipulated to, they were, some of them, to keep their jobs, for others, so many reasons. And I'm hearing from a lot of people, they wish they could go back and change their mind. They wish they could go back and choose differently. And Then there are the folks, so since I've been talking about some options for those folks, because we have some, especially within the energy work, which is known as the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, within the energy work, there's a lot that we can do to help to support those folks, to literally enable them to be able to choose again, right? To move forward as if they did not choose otherwise, right? As if they did not receive the thing. So then there are folks who heard me talking about that, and they said, "Well, that's interesting, but I kind of like the thing. I kind of like the injection. What I don't like is that I heard that there's mercury in it, and mercury is a neurotoxin. Mercury is a large contributing factor to the skyrocketing statistics of children who are diagnosed with autism, autism spectrum disorder." And there's a really strong correlation between Alzheimer's and dementia, some Parkinson's, and heavy metals in the brain, and in other parts of the body, right? Liver, kidneys. So, and then there are folks who have the thing to say, I kind of like the idea of the mRNA. It seems cool in some ways. And, the whole CRISPR field of research is fascinating to me, and I've been following it for years, and it really, really is really, I think it holds so much potential. And yet, these mRNA versions of the injection were just rushed way too quickly. It takes an average of 10 years to bring a new vaccination to market, and this was just rushed. No animal tests, no, the tests were really like such a minimal amount of testing. And yet there are people who think that they are being protected in some way against the virus. So they would like to keep that, if that's possible, or at least keep the illusion of that. They don't want to choose again. They just don't want heavy metals. They just don't want, some folks are saying, supposedly there's a whole bunch of other viruses that are in that, manufactured viruses that came from a lab. Some folks say that there are tracking devices or receiver transmitter kinds of things that can help to sway, really control human behavior. So those folks would like the if there is protection against the virus, but they would prefer to not have all of the other things, which I'm thinking, I get that logic, except if you really dug a little bit deeper and did a little bit more research, I'm not so sure that would still be your choice. And yet, I see my part of the challenge in all of this is to come up with some helpful, safe solutions and options for everyone, right? Regardless of what you're choosing or what you chose to do, what you will choose to do moving forward, it's very freeing, very empowering, and very, to me, exciting that we have so many ways of going about within source energy medicine helping, right? We can apply the source energy medicine, both charging label technology and the energy healing work, in ways that in the early days of this, I could not have imagined. And I have a pretty vivid imagination and do think big, and yet some of the stuff that we're doing today still is inspiring to me. It still is kind of hard to grasp what we're able to do. It's enables me to find some peace within all this turmoil, because regardless of what challenges my clients and the folks in our community have, we have so many different ways of being able to help, right? So many different ways of being able to take source energy medicine technology and apply it in very constructive, safe, and creative ways. So I've been talking about, or really primarily through emails. Last month, we opened a brand new club. It's a non-material source energy medicine sessions club. And there's a lot of details to it. I'm not going to certainly go into all of the details, but we opened registration for that last month, and we had two sessions, like a special. It's a prelude, I guess, to the whole club itself, because there was a lot of logistics to talk about how it's going to work and month to month what that looks like and where everything is. So I limited registration because I wanted to make sure that it was totally manageable and that every participant felt the individual love and attention. So Milo and I felt that we could invite a small handful of folks to join us. So we opened registration again, and I believe as of this morning we have 2 spots remaining. And there's a link in the show notes below this player, whether watching live or in the replay. If you're interested in joining us, just click the link and check out all of the details. The registration links are there too. So, and that to me is a phenomenal way of being able to support you, because what I'm able to do in the group sessions that we are about to share in here on SEM Mondays is much more limited, right? Because within the non-material source energy medicine sessions club, I know everyone who's participated from the registration, and they share with me goals and challenges each month. So I do a group session, and even that group session goes way beyond what I'm able to do on SEM Mondays. And then I'm able to work individually with each and every participant. So it's a unique way of being able to experience the energy work, and it's a unique way for me to be able to facilitate it. And I think there's even added benefit to that type of a session as opposed to working one-on-one with me or one of our non-material source energy medicine practitioners. And there's several reasons why I say that, but it is at this point, it is largely speculation and an intuition. And yet I know enough about morphic fields, and I've done this long enough that I know that there actually is greater potential and possibility within this particular style of session and within this particular type of group setting. So if you're the least bit intrigued, at least check out the info, and I hope you will decide to register and join us for this. And I'm honestly not sure if we're going to open registration again anytime soon for this. So if it's something that caught your eye last month and for whatever reason you didn't register, this might be your last time to be able to join us for quite a while. So, but it's brand new. We're figuring it all out. And so we may be able to invite another small handful of folks next month or the month after. I'm not sure how it's going to unfold, but it's much more likely that we're not able to open registration again. We're not able to invite any new folks to join us for a while. And then I'm not sure if it's going to be 2 groups or going to modify the way it all works. So, but it's pretty cool. And you know, for folks like inside of our workshops, I find myself often saying, you know, how excited I am. I'm excited to be here with you on SEM Mondays. And we think, like, why is this guy excited to be here on SEM Mondays? And in part, it's because I care about you. And in part, it's because I want you to feel well supported on your journey with source energy medicine. And in part, I know that this energy work that we are about to experience and share in, the potential and possibility that lies even in this abbreviated group session absolutely sparks excitement and joy for me. So a lot of folks in our community probably think I get excited pretty easily, and honestly, I don't. Like, I'm a happy, positive, pretty bubbly person most of the time. I think a lot of people would like to find the dial to turn that down sometimes. But at this point of source energy medicine, like it really takes quite a bit to get that excitement going. And yet with this energy healing sessions club, like that excitement hasn't waned. It hasn't even like leveled off. It just keeps the arc of it is like it's growing exponentially, which I am intrigued by and super grateful for. I mean, it's just so much fun for me being able to do this work where I know it's completely safe. The worst thing that can happen is nothing. And the best thing that can happen is what would be described as a miracle or a huge blessing. And it's, such a fun place for me to be, creative space for me to be working and playing knowingly with the source of all creation, to be able to help you is like, I absolutely feel like one of the most fortunate men on this planet. And as cool as SEM Mondays is, and how I'm very grateful for the platform, and I'm as clunky as it is, I'm very grateful that we're connecting from wherever you are in the world, from the safety and comfort of your own home or your mobile device if you're out and about, and we're able to do this on a consistent and regular basis, which is pretty sweet. And but the Sessions Club is just like, of all of the things that I do, the various master classes and online workshops that I offer, this one, because it's experiential, right? It's not me teaching or explaining stuff. It's very experiential. Certainly questions and answers and time for support and sharing breakthroughs and miracles, as well as frustrations and challenges. But the large majority of it is just experiential, which is very different than our online workshops and master classes, and it's a pretty sweet spot for me. And having the consistency of being able to work with the same person every month, and then for that person to have their replay, so that once or even twice a day, or some folks are watching it 3 times a day because there's so much stress and so much fear, in between the monthly sessions, that's priceless. There's like no way for me to be able to schedule a one-on-one session with a client even every month, let alone every day, once a day, which would be completely impossible for me and probably most of our practitioners, although it may not be true. And yet, think about the financial investment in that, $150 a day or, $150 a month. And some practitioners charge more. I haven't increased my rates in a long time, and it's long overdue. But the reality is, right now, I really don't have time in my schedule to work one-on-one with people, and that was part of the frustration for me. That it's one of the things that led to this idea of doing a group energy healing sessions club. So, and certainly if you have any questions about that, certainly let me know. And it's cool. And I sent out an email. I forget when within the last couple of days, because like some of this stuff is like really hard to talk about because it's experiential, right? And we each heal differently, So I said in my email, just sign up for the monthly membership, and in a month, if you don't think that there is massive value in this, I'll give you your money back. Not just cancel your membership, which of course you could do at any time, but I'd happily refund your money, because like I want this to be super easy, like complete no-brainer, complete stress-free. Just try it. And then I also offer support for figuring out how to maximize this opportunity, how to maximize these sessions, things that can get in the way from that being true, right? So the things that would create difficulty or challenge and grossly limit what's possible in each session. So I hope that makes sense. And I'd like to segue into doing the group energy healing session. If you're joining late or you have been sitting on a question and you have a question that you'd like to ask me live, please go ahead and type that into the chat as I'm getting things set up for the energy healing session, and I'll check the chat before I come back on live after the session. And I'll do my best to answer any questions that are in that chat before we have to wrap up for today. And then, God willing, I'll be back here next Monday. All things go well, and I'll have the opportunity to be able to experience this again, Q&A, and there's always something to talk about in terms of an announcement or what's going on within our various communities within Source Energy Medicine, and then the group energy healing session, which I can't see stopping doing this anytime soon. My intention is to be able to support you until at least the fear and the stress and the things that are leading to high levels of anxiety and uncertainty and a lot of things that will repress the immune system, which is the worst thing that could possibly happen with this virus or these variations of this virus going around. So I hope that makes sense. And if you're totally new and you don't know anything about the energy healing component of Source Energy Medicine, when we're done here, just type into a search engine, non-material Source Energy Medicine, NON material. And it's called that because there's no material substance, no bottles, no charging labels, no water. It's the same technology, and yet it's just energy work. It's pure energy work. And because it is energy work, it versus charging labels and bottles and water, we're able to do a lot of things that we can't do with charging labels, right? Like energetically time traveling, which for a lot of people who have had traumatic injury, physically traumatic injuries, car accidents and mountain biking accidents and, various things like that, work-related accidents. Very often, the most effective way of being able to go about supporting that client and transforming, balancing, restoring is to energetically time travel back to the time of the injury. And sometimes it's multiple injuries spread out over, years. So we almost always, at least I always, when I'm facilitating a session, when we get to the challenge part, I always ask, energetically speaking, right, where is the most ideal place and linear time to be able to work on this challenge? And if it is, multiple, like a professional football player or something like that, we're often going way back in their career, right? Probably to high school, and then continuing to work. If we were to work in this moment, in this time, space, reality, and the initial accident was 20 years ago or 10 years ago even, it would be likely 100 times more work, if not more, and we'd probably be much more limited because the physical body can have difficulty healing from traumatic injury, and you end up with scar tissue and bones that didn't really mend so well, or less than ideally, things that are no longer anatomically correct. And we're, all of that just makes things complicated. There are muscles and tendons and ligaments that are often compensating for the injury. So by being able to energetically do this time travel and go back to right after the injury and do the work there is no scar tissue. There is no improper or less than ideal healing, and we're able to have things in terms of measurable results pretty quickly and often almost immediately, which still to this day is like one of the coolest things that I experience, that I witness when I work with clients who had serious traumatic injury. So I hope that makes sense. Check out, there's video on our YouTube channel. If you are exploring the Source Energy Medicine Quick Start Guide, the free course in Source Energy Medicine, there's a video in there where I talk about the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine. And if you haven't signed up for the Quick Start Guide, it's essential, right? It's where the charging labels are, how to take video, an electronic copy of my book, Heal Myself, and lots more. So I believe 16 modules altogether these days. So on your end, it's important for you to know that you are always healing yourself. And it's true even outside of Source Energy Medicine, right? If you go to a knee surgeon, to a large degree, you're still healing yourself, even though, yes, there is a surgeon, a well-trained, well-skilled, well-experienced, hopefully, surgeon who's going to be performing the procedure, and yet, to a large degree, you're still in charge. And if you think that's a stretch, check out Lynn McTaggart's book, The Field, where she talks about some studies that have been conducted, where double-blind studies with things like knee surgery, specifically knee surgery, and the placebo, the control group, had, I think, were equal results, which is crazy, right? They got they thought they received the procedure, and they actually didn't, and they still recovered as well as the group that actually received the procedure. So that is the power of our ability to heal ourselves, right? And it really, a lot of it is mind, for absolute sure, no question about it, but it's so much more, because it is, from my perspective, always the source energy aspect of you that is always responsible for the blessings and the miracles. And when they aren't coming, it's always human error, right? It's always limiting belief, subconscious mind, or something that's getting in the way, right? I'm creating resistance in some way. So the human creation is often, where the work lies, and to a large degree, it's transforming, balancing, and restoring all of that. So there is nothing that's interfering with your ability to be able to heal yourself. So, and at that point, then the body can be self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting, and there's, life is just filled with grace and ease. And I think then we are back to the original plan for our human species. So even though you are healing yourself, try and do nothing, especially if you are an integrative wellness practitioner, especially if you do energy work. Try to not do energy work while you're experiencing this session. Just allow yourself to relax. A lot of folks like to lie down and close their eyes, and please only do that if you're in a place where it's safe and appropriate and you feel comfortable doing that. And, a lot of folks are out and about listening to this, and then they'll check out the replay when they're able to, either in their meditation space or lie down someplace comfortably and be able to just honor the healing process, honor your healing process, and experience the work fully and completely without distractions, right? Turn all of your notifications and things off if at all possible, and just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to relax as deeply and get as comfortable as you possibly can, and just breathe at a normal pace, and just take really good care of yourself. Use common sense, take good care of yourself. I turn my video off. There'll be, God willing, there'll be chanting going on in the background, and that the music actually has absolutely nothing to do with the energy work, which is confusing to a lot of people. They think it has something to do with the energy work, and it actually doesn't. if your eyes are closed, please go ahead and slowly blink them open and come on back here and now to SEM Mondays Live here on YouTube in this time-space reality. I hope that was, at minimum, at least peaceful and relaxing and uplifting and inspiring for you. And it's, to me, just such a, this work is such a gift, and there is absolutely positive benefit to exploring, whether it's this session or any of the replays from SEM Mondays from the archive. There's a special playlist that's on our YouTube channel. It's on my YouTube channel that has all of the replays from SEM Mondays. And you could just fast forward to the energy healing part and re-experience that. So it's, I think, based on feedback that I've received from folks in our community over the last year and a half or so since we started doing this energy healing session as part of SEM Mondays, there are some folks who are revisiting a replay like 3 times a day just to support them during this pandemic and this high level of stress. So I hope that was at least a pleasant, positive, if not miraculous experience for you. And there's a question from Judith. Thank you, Judith, for asking, do you have to use a metal straw to drink source energy medicine? You don't. You don't have to use any straw. I think plastic straws, I've major problems with plastic straws, both from a health perspective as well as the health of our planet. Right? Plastic is just causing so many challenges, especially for our water, fresh water and salt water. But no, you don't have to use a straw at all. I drink out of a mason jar and I use a metal straw. It's just my personal preference. So a lot of folks in our community will see me sip out of my mason jar. I don't know if that's where Judith's question came from, but the only thing you don't want to do is drink out of a bottle that has a charging label on it. If you're going to drink out of a bottle, it should only have a blank charging label on it. And whatever you're drinking out of, that should have a blank charging label on it. I hope that makes sense. And if not, there's a couple of videos on our YouTube channel that'll be helpful. Certainly the first and foremost is the how to take source energy medicine video. And then there's another one. I believe it's 10 FAQs in 10 minutes, 10 of the most frequently asked questions that I receive. So I hope that makes sense. And thank you all for your kind words and beautiful emojis and just for sharing so much love and for being so kind and just an awesome community. Thank you, Donald, for your gratitude. Really appreciate that. And God willing, see you back here next Monday for another installment of SEM Mondays. Between now and then, take really, really good care of yourself and those around you. And, I often think that, absolutely what the world needs now is more love and more compassion, more tolerance, more patience, right? So especially with those who you don't agree with or those who have different views, those who seem to be being mean or stronger versions of mean to you, they're for the most part, I think most people are trying to do the best that they can do with what they have going on. And there's an awful lot of people who have had very, very difficult, trying lives. And especially this last year and a half or so, it seems like that has escalated pretty significantly. So little kindness, little consideration, little politeness, little just being what I think is just kind of basic human, I think would go a very, very, very long way. And I think never before has there been a greater need for just I love the notion of these random acts of kindness, as you're, if you go to your organic co-op as you're shopping, put a nice healthy something in your cart for the checkout person, and it's sometimes just a little something like that. I think just really shows that you're not alone. the universe cares about you. The universe is supportive. The universe is abundant. The universe is fun. The universe is a game if you choose to see it that way and if you choose to engage and collaborate and play along. So I hope that makes sense. And I wish you continued